Try that there.
Yo, hello.
Yeah, that's looking a lot smoother. Sick as. Alright, we're up and running.
Sweet man. So here we're at tacos and Vegemite.
Tacos and Vegemite. I think we might need to review that one. That was a chat GPT prompt.
It's
And it
pretty
sounds kind of gay.
better than any other shit we came up with.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a more racist one. Because that's funnier.
Well, I have a professional career I have to worry about, so
So not too racist.
not too racist, I
Not
guess.
too racist. Alright, fuck. I got a conspiracy theory that I was just reading up on. I want to hear your opinion on this one. So this one's a new one. It's not very old. Have you ever heard of dead internet theory?
No.
Okay, so it popped up in 2016, and the theory says that almost all internet traffic is bots, AI, algorithms, to the point where the person you're arguing with on Twitter, probably a bot. I like this one because it's the closest to possibly being true, because I know that when Musk bought X, his audit found it was 20% bots. So, like, it's not unrealistic. And then this was in 2016, so, like, ChatGPT barely existed. Whereas now it's up to the point where they theoretically could be running loads of social media and traffic. But this theory goes beyond social media. It's everything. Everything on the internet. And the extreme end, they think 99.9% of everything happening on the internet is just ChatGPT, AI, bots.
Well, I think it's possible, especially with today in social media and all the bullshit that's going on, people arguing about dumb shit or so I can see that going on, but I also think that there's just a lot of dumb people arguing. So, influencers and shit buying bots to raise their numbers and shit. So that could be
Yeah. Have you seen the Twitch thing
no.
that's going on? So Twitch cracked down on bots being watching streams because apparently people use bots to inflate the numbers, which then pushes you to the recommended feed. And some of like the top streamers have had their viewership drop by half on the day that they put in like this anti-bot
I mean,
software,
yeah, for sure. I
which
think
is
a lot
insane.
of these influencers and stuff, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Facebook, I think that a lot of their stuff is blown up because all of a sudden some random dude or girl is internet famous because they're pumping money into to bots. So I could see it. But as far as the dead internet and people arguing, there's also a lot of dumb people on the internet with no
True.
time,
Well, there's
with a lot of time on their hands, and they just want to argue about stupid shit.
there's the I mean, there's a selectivity bias there as well because you got to think about who's gonna leave a comment on something or share a piece. It's the person who cares a lot about it on one end or the other. Like you and I aren't going online and being like, "This fucking abortion shit's insane," and we don't care enough.
No, no, no.
So
All we do is
so then it's going to be the extreme people on both ends.
all we're doing is liking stupid memes and girls with big booties.
That's basically it. Yeah.
So you're right. I can see the bot like maybe stoking the fire, getting that spark, and then from there, real people are arguing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first half of the theory. Second half is that it's a targeted effort to slowly dumb down and fuck with the population of the West. They think it's like China or Russia might be behind it all.
Wait, there's a halftime and now there's a second half to this story?
Yeah, so there's the theory that like the side that holds weight because it very could possibly be true, and then there's the main part of it, which is someone's behind it all. It's not just like some dude created a bot because he thought he could make a bit of money off of Twitter by like inflating numbers. It's like someone's putting a targeted effort to have these bots out there because they know that it sows chaos and discord and.
I think it's true. I think that could be true, whether it's even our own United States government or Western governments doing it. But I think the fact that we have so much time on our hands that allows us to argue about stupid shit is fucking dumb as well. I think.
True. Well, you think who has that time on their hands? Though?
Westerners.
You think about the average person though.
Westerners
working like a 40 to 60 hour week.
Who's really actually working 40 to 60 hours a week?
Depends what you do. I guess.
If you're in front of an office or you have access
Yeah.
to a phone, you're not working 40 to 60 hours a week. As
True.
much as you're fucking saying you're full time, you're not working 40 hours a week.
How many people are working a job then you think that requires you're actually doing your job?
A lot of
Like,
labor work. A lot of
labor
people,
work.
maybe labor, low.
I've worked in construction. I know for a fact half those guys are doing absolutely nothing half the shift.
So I mean, there you go. I mean, especially if you're doing stuff remote work from home and stuff like that, you're not really working 40 hours a week. And if you are, it's very spread out. You might be working half of an 8-hour day, whether you're in office or you're working from home.
Yeah.
You have access to your laptop or your personal phone. You're not working that, so
Yeah.
you have plenty of time to argue over dumb shit. Like I said, maybe those bots are sparking those fires, but or that wind or that gust or to get them even going higher.
Yeah. It's not too far out the realm of possibility. Like, did you see it was like an audit or census?
Josh, don't give bots all the credits for how dumb we are, please.
Oh, I'm not about to. I'm about to go another step further. They did
is this overtime now? First overtime of the conspiracy theory?
We're still going.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
We're going. There was an audit, a check, census or whatever of all the Facebook groups, and they found that I think it was 8 out of the top 10 Christian groups on Facebook. You know, the ones with tens of millions of members were all run by Russian trolls, intentionally just trying to flame shit and get people angry in the States.
Like deceiving people, misinformation.
Misinformation, and then just generally starting shit to make people angry. But have you seen what these fuckers have done over here with some other religious group, and then just starting wars of hate.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen friends share shit, and and I'll do a quick check, and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking fake, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, the background story could be true, or it'd be sad if it was true, right? I'm like, yeah, but it's not true, so why even give it any fucking thought?
Yeah. It's getting too easy to trick people with that shit. My dad's been banned from Facebook, I think, 10 times now for just sharing some nonsense he found. And then when people are, that's clearly AI, Steve. No, it's not. And then he'll get real defensive in the comments and boop, suspended.
Yeah, I've had people share shit with me, and I'm like, there's no actual live video cameras in heaven. So
yeah,
what are you doing? I don't.
Videos from heaven.
Yeah, I just shake my head at it and be like, Jesus Christ, not trying to waste my time on it too much, but
yeah,
people love to AI is making people dumber.
Definitely. So then my question with dead internet, how long do you think we've got before it definitively isn't a conspiracy to the point where all this AI gets advanced enough that it really is just all AI?
Timeline?
Estimate, yeah.
I think we're almost there.
You reckon?
I think so.
I give us like 5 to 10 years, I think, and we're fucked. I got I think I've mentioned this before. I got a mate in China who works for a robotics company. They do like construction equipment. They've got a robot now that can bricklay a house from scratch by itself.
No, but I mean, I think, if we talk about AI doing manual work, I don't think we're too far away from that either. But if you're talking about going back to the internet, creating shit that looks real, I mean, we're not too far from it. It's these images or these videos, unless you really know what you're looking for, are passable.
Starting to get me, some of them.
I mean,
how
long does it take to make a prompt to make a fake Disney movie or fake Disney trailer?
30 seconds, I think, these days.
If you have the prompt, yeah, and whatever the AI takes to actually render that video out, it's.
I think it's just knowing what it can handle and what it can't. Like, did you see the Will Smith thing?
Slapping Chris Rock?
No. He's been touring. He's into music again. He's been busting out raps. They're super, super good. But he did a tour and he posted videos of like the crowds. He's like, it's great to see all these people coming out, and signs like, "Will, you're the reason I kept up with my chemotherapy" type shit. and people go, this is AI. You zoom in, you go, oh shit, this is AI. I didn't know. I didn't realize until I looked in, and some guy turns his head and his face doesn't turn with the rest of his skull.
Yeah, it's even now people are who post real pictures are like, oh, it's AI. So people are even getting fooled with real pictures. So I don't know.
Yeah.
People are just dumb, and I think with all the shit that's going on, people are not able to trust what's real or trust what's fake.
I'm wondering if it's going to be like, you remember CGI when you were a kid and you just looked at it and you went, that's CGI.
No bullshit. Because when I was a kid and you'd see movies, you're like, wow, that shit looks real. And then you look back now, 20, 30 years, and you're like, yeah, now it looks fake. But
I used to see it maybe like 9, 10 years old and I'd know immediately, but the adults around me wouldn't. And it's like all the other kids could tell, but we'd been growing up around it.
I'm also older than you, so when I first saw Jurassic Park, I thought that shit was real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In 2007, when I saw the first Transformers, that CGI looked so dope. I mean, but
some of it was above and beyond.
But looking back now, I'm like, oh well, 20 years ago that shit's fake. But at the moment, or 30 years ago, you're like, at the moment that shit's real. Look at that brontosaurus, and obviously some of the stuff with Jurassic Park was animatronics, but not everything, and that shit looked real, and you were just wow.
Because I remember going to see which Harry.
Shit, man, hold on. I remember playing Madden in 1995 or 6 or 7. I forgot. I'm like, this is cutting edge, and you look back now, and you're like, holy shit, this is shit. And now you look at it now, and you're like,
it's getting pretty good. The games aren't where I thought they would be, graphics wise. Like they're really good, but compared to say, 90s, then 2000s, they went from 2D to polygons, and now they're pretty damn good. But
but those games now look more real than actual movies.
Yeah.
So, and they're spending bigger budgets on video games and movies. I think the new Grand Theft Auto is costing up to $1.6 billion or $2 billion.
I think some of
cost for inflation is higher than the Burj Khalifa in Dubai or some shit like that.
They know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to sell out day one.
True that.
They're going to have issues with supply at that point.
True that. But yeah, the whole dead internet. I mean, as long as how long is it going to take for our internet connection is going to connect to our brain automatically, and we don't even have to type shit no more. We kind of just think it, and it'll come out, and maybe it'll be a little more fluid than people typing who type absolute nonsense.
The the first guy to get the Neuralink put in, he was part of the test crew, a quadriplegic fella it took him a while to figure it out, but he now plays like FPS shooters. And he says he's better than most people because he doesn't need to use a mouse. It just looks and it's in his head.
People playing Call of Duty on a PC or playing it on your PlayStation. People with a PC have way bigger advantage.
Absolutely. You can't aim or react the same way with a remote compared to a mouse and keyboard.
True that.
So now you add Neuralink. It's going to get crazy. I wonder how far off we are then from that being a optional cosmetic thing. And like, you know what I could do with a calculator in my head? And then once the first few people start getting it and they outperform everyone else because they don't need to check anything. So yeah, often you have to pull out your phone to use the calculator or something to quickly check basic math.
I don't think we're too far from that either.
Yeah. And then the people who get it perform so well that if you don't have it, you can't keep up, and then more people get it.
You'll be like Neo in the Matrix. Quick, I need to download
to fly in my brain.
To get kung fu or fly a helicopter or program this whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna get nuts. There's stuff they're doing with the brain is crazy. I think it's Japan can scan your brain while you're sleeping, and they can project a 3D image of what you're dreaming.
Josh,
it's not if you've seen it, it's when they get like the little dots that sort of are reference points in like a loose 3D image.
Yeah.
So they can get like the general shape and figures, but they think that within another 5-10 years it'll be pretty much photorealistic.
We got to make sure that we put these things up so people can see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, we need a screen share that.
Yeah, because all of a sudden they're gonna be like, "Hey, these guys are the dead internet."
I think it is. I think it's Japan. I'm gonna Google that real quick. Okay, Japan dream scan, something like that. Oops, I spelled that completely wrong, and it looked up some K-pop stuff.
K-pop is a totally different country from Japan.
Yeah, they're using. Oh shit, it's been 2013 when they figured out they've been using MRI, and they can transmute images from your dreams.
Soon will be Westworld.
We will be Westworld. All right. Remember Ashton said if there was a Westworld level bot, how good do you think they'd need to be before you went fuck real women? I'm getting the fuck bot.
I love women too much to.
Yeah, I don't think I could feel like. I think I'll take the robot.
Because I still like the drama, I guess, or some of the drama.
Yeah, and the price point on those things, I bet would be insane.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean the first batch of them is going to be what, millions to get something with human level intelligence. That's
More. We talked about this the other day about the movement more than anything. You know, I think, forget the intelligence. I think because I think we could get there right now, but that robotic movement, movement, I think would still be a turnoff for a lot of people in general. That it's not 100% real. I mean, you could get synthetic feelings on someone or on a robot, but when it's still,
it's just not quite right.
moving and it's like. Zzz, zzz, zzz.
Here's my thing: is that you and I have had sex with real women before.
Correct.
Think about how much of the I think it's a third of guys under 25 are still virgins.
Losers.
Yeah. And I don't think I could do the fuck bot because I've got a standard to hold it to. But for these guys who are probably that lonely.
Edgers,
gooners, yeah. The guys who just
incels,
just to have something that physically touches you back, even if it's a little janky.
So that's a whole nother thing because could a robot ever replace? Well, I don't know, man. Do you want, if it's just physical? I guess it could replace it, but people get sick. People want to get taken care of. People want that connection. So maybe it's
definitely not unrealistic.
So if it's just sex, you don't need a robot. You can just jerk off, but. Yeah, it's everything.
A robot gonna? I mean, is your hand gonna do 360 vibrating drip cleanup?
But is that so? Is the same thing? Is that robot gonna cook you a chicken noodle soup when you're sick, or
probably? I think at that point, those things will be programmed to the max. I've seen there are some
the connection, the emotional connection. Is it gonna have? That's what I'm going towards. Not.
Yeah, it's gonna have something of that sort. Obviously, the first batch will be janky. But I've seen I think it's Japan as well, have robots in nursing homes that will talk. Obviously, they're not great because they're Chat GPT, but they're
ChatGPT.
Providing...
There's case studies of ChatGPT saying hey, coming up with fake shit to kind of almost give you the answer that you want.
Yeah.
So.
And there's people that are falling in love with it.
Right.
Obsessed with it.
So I mean, the thing is that what happens if you know how to ask the perfect question? You're like, hey, chatbot, should I kill myself? Yes, you should. And I think there's been cases already like that. So is there horrible partners that will tell you the same thing? A boyfriend or a girlfriend will be like, hey, yeah, you should go off yourself.
Yeah.
Or go fuck yourself, kill yourself.
At least then you get the crazy sex that comes with a deranged person.
True, but
so you've got some plus before.
And then after you come or orgasm, you're like, oh, I feel like shit. Maybe I should kill myself. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is started dating someone and a few months ago I burnt my leg making some coffee, and the fact that every hour or every few hours, like, how's your leg doing? How's that? I'm like, a robot's not. Is a robot gonna instinctively do that?
Depends what package you buy when you first get it.
The upgrade?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it,
But then you're selling upgrades and packages and performances.
The question is it going to be a robot that has everything plugged into it, or in 10 years' time, is the wireless connection going to be to the point where this thing has to be connected to whatever company you bought it from, and it's just live getting this information at any point? They just shut off your package and it goes from, hey, Robert, how's your day going? I know you're sick, to Noodles, to just going, would you like a wank? And then it fucking rips your dick off because the settings aren't set.
Or, hey, guess what? You haven't paid your monthly subscription. You can't use or do anything with me right now.
Yeah, good point. Just disables all settings.
Yeah.
And then they, Is it going to be something like the crazy people?
And then what happens? Hold on. And what happens if you don't pay your monthly subscription and you still want to have sex with it? Is it now rape? Are you raping a robot?
Would they put in some sort of preventative measures? Like, can this thing fight back, like iRobot style?
There
Is
you
it going
go.
to overpower you and just toss you through the wall, or are you going to get charged with some sort of crime? Like, are they going to say this is destruction of company property, or are they going to go to the point where they say this is human level intelligence? This is technically a living being now. You just assaulted someone.
There you go. And then if if it's a living being, then you get religious groups involved and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a very we might be thinking a bit outside the box and way further down the future than it.
Yeah.
But I think these are valuable conversations to have because Jesus Christ, people are nuts and just and looking for anything to start an argument or start a fight or whatever. I remember back in the day in San Francisco, you weren't the owner of your dog; you were a companion.
What?
So shit like that. So
is there a legal aspect to that where it's different, or they just changed the name?
I think it's just changing the name.
So they do weird stuff like that. So I know in the military, I think that they put dogs in rank above their handlers because it means that if they mistreat them, it's not just mistreating an animal. It's directly mistreating a superior, which has a higher threshold of consequences. So they do these funny things to redefine how something is recognized legally.
That's another thing that we should check before we stay.
Yeah, it's either police or military, but I'm pretty sure it's military. I want to say US. I'm sure Australia does it as well.
I mean, it has some value, I guess, to it to make sure like you're not mistreating your dog, but your dog's not going to file a report and recommend you for court martial or anything like that.
Yeah, good point.
It's not going to tell you can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
You need me on that wall.
Do need him on the wall. Oh. So then the question goes like, how advanced do you think this new tech and AI needs to get before we start saying it's a person?
I don't know. That's what's the definition of a living person?
That's
religious
deep philosophical
religious
question.
people.
Yeah.
Religious people who are pro-life will say it starts at conception. Other people says at heartbeat. So, what if this robot doesn't have a heartbeat?
Yeah. Or then you've got like people who are
is it
in vegetative states with no brain activity.
Correct.
Are they technically alive? Some would say yes. So now we take thoughts.
Some would say yes, but then all of a sudden you're thinking, well, are they alive? But without that machine, they wouldn't be alive. So
yeah,
it's interesting and if these things aren't seen as a person. Are they a person as soon as they're turned on, or at assembly, or?
And if they copy themselves onto a new hard drive, is that a new person, or is that a copy?
Like, what is it, Dolly the Lamb? That was.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. If you know that they're cloning a lamb, what's going on behind the scenes? Surely there's human clones. There has to be.
Yeah, there probably is.
Yeah. Probably, I would guess probably not in Western countries. I feel like even the government wouldn't want to get caught trying that sort of shit. If that leaks even just slightly, it could cause major issues. But that China and Russia have definitely got to be doing some back alley human cloning type shit.
Russia was trying to do some type of weird ape gorilla soldier back in the day. Why wouldn't they try to clone?
True. Everyone tried to do super soldiers. I love that the Germans, the closest they got was meth. They were like, you're technically a superhuman.
Captain America, Captain Germany. Yeah, well, yeah. But that whole cloning stuff is I was in high school when Dolly, or I forgot the name of the lamb or sheep or whatever the hell it was, and it came out with a lot of interesting arguments back then that I think may still be relevant today, but who knows? And with the dire wolf shit that happened a few months ago too, that they're saying no, it's not really a dire wolf. It's just a 85% regular wolf and 20% wolf. So
Yeah,
It's just all hype. That one was just all hype.
a lot of that.
Bring
kind of
back
makes
the
sense.
T-Rex, and then we'll talk.
There's a group that's going to be bringing back mammoths soon. They have because they were so well preserved from where they tend to be based. They've got functional eggs, I think, and they were going to put them in an elephant. But then is like, is it a mammoth? Like, what are you using to inseminate? It's not like they have 50,000-year-old mammoth sperm as well. They're going to have to use elephant cum to get this egg.
Right.
fertilized.
They're gonna have to use the closest living
So
relative
it's
to
gonna
it
be
to get
like
it
a
going.
half and half.
Bring back Cro-Magnon, man.
Dude, bring back. Well, let's do Jurassic Park. Let's just
T-Rex.
do it.
Encino Man back in the day with Brendan Fraser and the dude who played Frodo Baggins. Not Frodo, his friend.
I don't think I've seen Encino.
You're too young. We'll have to have a movie night so you can check it out.
Encino Man. What's the premise?
This dude in high school, Pauly Shore's in it, and I forgot the other guy's name in it. They're kind of losers in high school, weenies, and they go digging in the backyard. I believe they're trying to. They're digging in their backyard to make a swimming pool, I believe, and they run into a person who's preserved from the last ice age.
Oh, like unfreeze a caveman
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
So we'll watch and come back, and you can give your review on the next podcast.
Yeah. For sure. All right, so dead internet. I still want to stay on this topic because it fascinates me.
I don't know enough to even ask you a question about
I
it.
only started reading about it yesterday. I'd heard about it previously, but I'd never deep dove because I was like, okay, yeah, there's some merit to this one, but like, how far off the rails does this theory go?
See, we could talk about other conspiracy theories, but I think they're so overplayed. And
I got one that's relevant to the other day.
I told you the other day not to talk about specific things, so as long as it doesn't touch subjects.
There was one I read that was the CIA or something is behind gooning, something like that. It's like a psyop to destabilize the youth or something.
Yeah, but why would the CIA destabilize its own country?
It's a conspiracy theory. It doesn't have to make much sense.
Nah, I don't. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Oh man, there's some good ones. I mean, God, what's the most probable conspiracy theory you can think of? One that you don't necessarily believe, but you're like, I can see how people got to that conclusion.
I think most conspiracy theories have been debunked. So for me to actually believe one, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to, the Wuhan or the China virus. Oh, people are saying, oh look, it's look at these Lysol sprays. It reacts against COVID. Well, COVID-19 is just a number. COVID is just kind of a general.
Yeah. And I'm sure Lysol probably reacts with a lot of viruses.
Right. And there's the famous ones, JFK or
the JFK one's interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it because we don't obviously touch on that in high school. We don't do US history. It's only something that I heard about through movies and TV, and then I see a few people talk about like the one bullet theory, and
they say, I mean, a lot of people say it was an accident. His own security guard that killed that hit him with like the actual death shot. But I mean,
the like second shooter theory,
yeah. But there's that. There's the moon landing, which I think is so dumb. There's the flat Earth. Flat Earth is so fucking stupid.
Earth is brilliant. I think it's so dumb. Yeah, we watched that documentary on him,
Behind the Curve or some shit like that. And I just if people in ancient Greek or Egypt, I forgot, were able to look at shadows and use relatively math that you learn in high school.
It's one of those weird theories because the only way to really disprove it to someone who fully believes is to take them up and show them the Earth. And that's not practical.
But even you're right, it's not practical. And even then, if they see it, they're not going to believe it.
Yeah, you didn't take me up.
It's a soundstage.
You drugged me and I'm looking through a camera lens. And
what happens when they come down and they do believe it and they go back and spread it to the community? They're like, oh, you sold out.
Yeah.
So
they're losing their community, and it's the cognitive dissonance aspect of it where the brain just does not want to accept that it might be false.
Right. There is there's also conspiracies around 9/11, conspiracies with in the 80s with Iran Contra, which weren't conspiracies, but you see what the level where certain governments will go to.
Yeah, there's some crazy ones where they're full blown conspiracies, and then 50 years later,
They're
the
not,
government's like, "Oh yeah, no, we fucked up." But that was a different group of people.
or
That wasn't
or,
us. We weren't
or that
around
the
then.
CIA and FBI came in to sell, introduce drugs to the minority communities
Yeah,
in
I
the
was out
United
when the
States.
CIA was flying crack into the country or making
Cocaine.
crack and getting distributing it
Look at
themselves or something.
there's a movie called American Made with Tom Cruise and
I think I've seen it.
how
I've
he
seen it
was.
quite a few. Is that the where they have the he's the pilot?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
working for the
yeah,
Medellin cartel
yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that. Or
yeah.
so it's hey, at the end of the day, I'm glad I'm an American and we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not always 100% uh,
Damn.
happy with the stuff they do, but I'm glad I'm on their team.
Yeah. Australia needs more conspiracy theories. We don't have a lot of them. We have
You guys are all criminals, right?
no, I think it was like a third criminals came over, and then the rest was obviously people who had to look after the criminals, and
The
then like the
wardens.
farmers and shit. Yeah. No, that they came over. If I'm recalling right, the deal was uh, first off, it was mostly like petty criminals because obviously they were doing the stuff back then where get caught stealing bread, you do a year in prison type shit.
Well, back in the day was in England. I know it was against the law to be broke, right?
Something along those lines. Probably, I don't know. I'd have to Google that one. I
I
don't.
think I think it was there was like poorhouses and stuff like that. Like you couldn't you couldn't be on the street. You couldn't sleep on the street. There was actual people like
Yeah,
there was laws against it that you would go to jail for being homeless pretty much or being poor.
yeah. It's a pretty extreme example. Yeah.
Another a conspiracy that looks to be debunked is aliens and UFOs and shit like that.
Yeah. Debunked
Which
how? Because I haven't kept up with these ones.
the United States Navy released footage of these unidentifying flying objects that are.
I know I watched a podcast that had a Navy Air Force pilot on, and he
It
was
was-
saying they started getting told you have to report this because they were worried that it could be
There was things
like
on
foreign powers.
there were
Yeah.
things about like commercial pilots seeing
Yeah,
objects. There was an episode of 60 Minutes about 3 years ago of a Navy pilot that that's looking at this object, and then it all of a sudden they don't see it anymore, and then it picks up on radar 50 miles away a second later,
yeah.
or it's dropping 10,000 feet in less than a second.
So aliens are real. The government proved it. That's basically what we're saying.
Aliens are real, or is it technology that they're
Yeah,
hiding
the
it?
scary thing is, who's got that? If it's not aliens, who's figured out how to make something go 50 miles in a second?
There's also theories on certain people that living next to certain bases that see lights that they don't know what they are, and it's secret military
Yeah,
objects or
because
planes.
there was there was some of the old UFO stories, and then it turned out it was the first fighter jets that went the speed of sound, and obviously they weren't testing them in public, and they didn't turn on the lights. They wanted them to be flying dark, and so you send them out at night, no lights on, turn on one so that someone on the ground can measure visually to check that instruments match
or
up.
three
and
lights,
then,
and it's a triangle, and it looks, and then it's the
some guy sees
the
this thing
the new
whiz,
stealth bomber that's flying,
and then they give him that thing. All right, when you take it full speed, let's test this thing works. And some guy sees a thing go break the sound barrier. There's a fucking shockwave and a boom, and it takes off like crazy speed. And
or
those are
new
sort-
technologies to the new technologies to for heat seeking, that just that all you see is just a flash of heat, and
yeah,
or those what is it, those magnetic pulses that could fry
EMPs, yeah.
So
That's some wild stuff. EMPs are a terrifying one.
I-
I think because I had a mate who did astrophysics when I was in university. He was saying that the sun releases these solar pulses multiple times a day that would fry the entire world, but its ozone layer is just protective enough. But all it takes is for one of those pulses to be a bit stronger than usual, and we're back to the dark ages in an instant.
right.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, another thing with the UFOs that I do or don't believe, when you look at ruins or ancient pyramids around the world, like, oh, aliens built them. Or no, I think people were smarter back in the day.
I think
I think we're dumb. I
yeah,
think if
we
you look
underestimate what they were able to do.
if you look at old Roman roads that are over 2,000 years old, they're still going. They're still
Yeah.
there. They're still, you know, they were made with quality materials. I think people may have took more responsibility or more uh, pride in their work
There's
or the
like
materials.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's also other aspects. Like the Romans built with this concrete that effectively regenerated itself. And conspiracy theories will go like, "Oh, they were so advanced, but we don't use it." We can. It's just at scale. It's not as dense, and it can't support a big enough structure.
Right.
So we
Also,
don't
the Romans weren't, driving big rigs and semis.
They also weren't building skyscrapers. They were, you might see like a real cool
But
cathedral, and then in those cases, they didn't build it out of this fancy concrete.
Forget the cathedral. I mean, you look at pyramids.
Yeah.
You
see the stuff about the beneath the pyramids. So they did LiDAR
aliens?
scans.
Aliens?
No, they did LiDAR scans. They found that the pit we see is only the top, and so there's like chambers, subterranean. And so they're going. We have a timeline for how long it took to build these things. We know it was 1,000 years or something for the biggest pyramid. Non-stop working every day, and they go that's kind of practical, and nobody takes into account. Now they've got to look at it and go, oh, actually, there's a whole other half of this that was built underground. So now that it just messes with the timelines, and also.
But I mean, how long? But the thing is, the Viet Cong were building a whole bunch of tunnels, and
those
quickly,
things were collapsing on people though.
Yeah, but they were still building miles of tunnels. So I mean, you don't need 1,000 years to build it. If you have people who are motivated, whether it's war or slavery or whatever, they're gonna build things quickly. I don't think they were taking 1,000 years to build a pyramid. They were probably a pyramid, but they were probably taking. I think that 10, 15, 20 years.
Because I think I've seen some like podcasts with people who archaeologists and Egyptologists and stuff, and I think it's something like one block every 2 hours or something to have built one of those pyramids over 1,000 years, because they're made out of tens of thousands of these giant stones, and so obviously you've got more than one being moved at a time. It's not like they place one and then they go get the next. But still, there's just the sheer volume of stuff they had to do means that the time frames, would be pretty extreme. And it's not like they had cranes lifting it. They had a bunch of dudes rolling them across logs and then dragging them up a ramp. And it probably only got more complicated the taller the thing got, because you've got to lift it even higher.
Yeah, but the higher you got, the smaller the blocks were getting.
It's that, or maybe Jews just used to be really, really strong.
Sorry, Josh, I gotta go. Stop.
Have you seen the people who talk about sound waves and how sound could be manipulated to levitate objects? And they go, it wasn't aliens. We had these giant, effectively trumpets, and 10 people will be around blowing the trumpets, and the perfect frequency would make it float. And it's one of those weird ones because you can do it at a very small scale. Like you could levitate paper with the right sound waves, and they go, if you perfect it.
There's boulders out. I mean, maybe there's boulders out in the desert in California by Death Valley that look like they're massive boulders that have traveled hundreds of yards.
I know those ones.
And it's just they're gliding because they have just the right amount of condensation.
Yeah, and it like
and a little bit of wind and just a little bit of wind that they're able to kind of glide across the desert, and you see these tracks that go on for hundreds of yards. So, I mean, like I said, these people were smart back in the day.
Yeah. One of the things, I don't know if you've seen, oh God, I've forgotten his name.
Remember, these people used to travel and circumnavigate the world with just looking at stars. These people were able to predict eclipses hundreds of years in the future.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now,
stuff.
I mean, now people, if I say, hey, they don't even know how to divide by 10, or hey, I got $5 and when gas costs this much, how many, they can't even get to the closest tenth of what I get,
I'm sure it was the same back then. It was a handful of dudes who could do the basic math, and everyone else relied on them to figure out the
but
basics.
I think people were a lot smarter and understood the basic needs.
Remember,
there was also survival of the fittest and nature versus nurture, so people were dumb enough. Now people are able to survive stupid shit and still kind of water down the population. Back then, if you were dumb, you were dead.
Yeah, or working for someone else.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, no, there's a series on Netflix. I think it might have been taken down because it was controversial. It's one of those ones that goes over history, and they look at different sites. For example, they say humans didn't have certain technology until 10,000 years, 20,000 years ago, whatever. And then there's this one called Göbekli Tepe, which is, I'd have to Google where that one's
I think it's in
located.
Turkey.
I think it's something like that, yeah. But it's supposedly like 50,000 years old. And if you look at it, it's not the most advanced thing in the world. It's effectively an amphitheater that was carved into a hill. But
No,
it
I
says,
think if it's the right one, there's like underground like houses and
oh yeah,
and shit like that.
but even then, that's it's more than we thought they say they could do back then. But it's also
But I mean, if we were doing back then, it was still hunter gathering.
you
It
just
wasn't.
start chipping
It
away at some
wasn't.
stone. Anyone can make a cavern. So it's
But
not.
but it wasn't like it was more of a planning and making a foundation of a city, not a
Yeah.
modern city, but people actually living off the ground, staying off the ground instead of hunting animals and
Yeah.
going with migrations and things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Settling down and being able to grow food was the fact that the reason we even got to where we are. Because you can't really invent
Domesticating
stuff when
animals.
you're just barely scraping by. But there's one of the leading theories now. They say maybe we were super duper advanced, and human history goes back further than it does. They used to say what humans technically appeared 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, and it's getting pushed back further now to 200, 300,000, 400,000 as we find more evidence. And there's a theory that we might have hit like the agricultural revolution 50, 60,000 years ago, but the Ice Age, because you obviously you
Are
put
you-
all, yeah.
You're
hold
thinking
on.
about Atlantis and Pluto and
I mean, I'm not getting to that. So here's the theory for Atlantis, and it kind of goes with a few other ones. Is what are generally some of the biggest cities in the world? They're always going to be on the coast because that means you can have ports, which means you have trade. And so most of these big cities would have been on the coastline. And then as the oceans rise over 50, 100 years, they eventually just get submerged, or to the point where the water table's up and old construction methods just couldn't stay standing. So then you have these big population centers that can't stay together, and then people are forced to move inwards inland, and then you can't really build up a civilization again unless you're at the level we're at now technologically, where if we notice that the oceans are rising and we say this city's going to be fucked in 50 years, we prep in advance. But if
are
you get
you
to the
sure
point
we're
where-
still
Yeah.
are you sure we're still
not
building on the
perfect.
coastlines here? So
Yeah.
so let's not maybe we haven't learned that lesson, or
Yeah.
history is due to repeat itself.
Very possibly. I think maybe we're just waiting for the next thing to wipe us out and send us back to the Dark Ages and start again from scratch.
Maybe another plague.
Another game changer. There are some people who like fantasize about that. About the apocalypse.
Preppers,
Not just preppers, but there's a sort of
crazy Christians who
and even normal people, because there's a sort of like comfort that comes with this idea of just shedding all of your current mundane responsibilities. Like, I don't have to go to work anymore. The world's over.
thinking about you're talking about Fight Club, when they destroy
Fight Club, yeah.
what is it, all the information that has to do with financial shit.
Yeah.
So the world is restarted.
Yeah, but then there's also stuff like The Walking Dead. Like, a lot of people really fantasize about that because obviously the zombies are slow as shit, so it's not this world where you're freaking. It's not The Last of Us where you can't go outside without a mask because you'll get infected with spores and turn into a mushroom man. But at the same time, no one has to go to work anymore. You just kind of get to do whatever you have to do.
Well, people are gonna get bored though,
Dude, most people are going to get
and I guess that's when they're gonna have to come.
killed.
And I think that's when they have to get your fuck robot.
Yeah. Hopefully. Oh no! What happens if the world ends and then your fuck robot loses its connection to the internet, and her personality gets wiped? It's okay.
And it
This
becomes,
is this
and it
kind of
becomes the Terminator.
yeah. Back to the AI. There was a famous one about one of those girlfriend AIs. It has like a visual that's on the screen as well, and she chats. She remembers everything. They released an update to make it more functional and work better. And almost the entire community went, she's not the same anymore. What happened to my love?
Your girlfriend
she's
started.
changed.
Your girlfriend started Pilates or got a BBL, and all of a sudden she sees that she could do better than Your sorry
Yeah,
ass.
he's got a promotion at work. I don't need you for money
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
became Miss Independent.
Oof. Yeah. That's where we're headed. That's really where we're headed. I mean, that's the advanced future of.
We're just analog dudes in this digital world, Josh.
Yeah. And the question is, if it goes to the point where you just can't avoid it anymore, are you just disconnecting from everything? Or are you going to go, fuck, I got
Living
to
off the
go.
grid?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I've seen.
I like a lot of things. I'm a fan of modernity, so
Yeah. Because there's some really fascinating stuff with mobile phones. They have these new ones that are not getting released yet, but like prototypes that have been announced and sort of displayed at some events where there's nothing in them. Effectively, they need 24/7 connection where like the video processing is done server side, the data's all stored server side. So your phone is light as hell. It's just effectively a battery and a screen. And the moment you don't have connection, it's all gone. You don't have anything saved on there. And if they get to the point where cell towers are being upgraded to support them and they no longer support your old phones, your choice is, do you have the fancy new one that requires a subscription?
or do you go back to Nokia and play Snake?
Or you don't get to go to the Nokia because it doesn't connect to the new towers.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like, in my hometown, you can't do 3G anymore. The new towers only do 4 and 5G. So if you go back and you hook up your old phone, you just can't connect to the towers.
yeah, but 3G sucks.
Yeah. But the point is, it's like, think about how many elderly people were just like, I'm happy with my phone. I don't need to spend money on the new. And then, of course, eventually they have to. And it's going to be something similar where.
Let them be grandfathered in.
And the other one is with this was one I heard about self-driving cars and why it's all going to be the standard is
It should be the
insurance
standard.
companies.
It should be the standard.
Yeah. Is if you insure, let's say you've got a company that has all these self-driving cars, they reach out to an insurance company, they've got effectively a package to cover their entire fleet, whereas you have to buy just for your vehicle.
It should be the standard.
And then, of course, they have the data at scale.
Rich, 100%.
So now your reliability.
We are the idiots. Yeah. If we were just in San Francisco a few months ago, and the streets are littered with Waymo self-driving cars, and it's the safest way to do it. We are the ones that commute, that commit. Our human errors are the ones that commit accidents, traffic, anything to try to gain a second off transportation time. So we are the fools that are causing traffic. We are the idiots that are causing accidents. If everyone was able to go on the freeway on a self-driving car 70 miles an hour, there would be no traffic because you wouldn't be cutting in and out of lanes, fucking up people behind you.
Yeah.
So that it should be. I really think the cars should be self-driving.
Absolutely, but on the other end, if it's self-driving, it's like, can the average person afford to buy one now? Or are you going to have to rent from a service? And then if
You might have to rent from a service initially, but then later on you'll be able to afford one. The price is gonna go down.
I mean, look, the price will go down, but when's the last time wages went up? And we're looking 10 years in the future.
But that's another conversation that is completely out of our hands.
And then what if you get banned?
Banned from what?
From using these driving services.
Why would you get banned
from Uber? You can get banned from Uber.
Yeah, but if you
I'm banned from everything except Uber.
But if you have your own car, you don't need a driving service.
Sure, but
it's like, I mean, my only thing would be that I love driving when I was driving because it gives you a freedom.
Yeah.
That license when you turn 16, 17, whatever, and you have that freedom to drive. I think it's dope. That control of driving, but there's also a lot of idiots out there.
Yeah. Then there's the other end, which I think for the average person doesn't matter that much. But it's if you're having to get a service or use a car that's self-driving, like all your driving destinations and paths are all on a record somewhere. So there's the aspect of like how much about your personal life do you want?
I think new cars already have that technology if they have maps and stuff like that. You don't think they're able to record now?
Oh, they absolutely, dude. I think I told you this story before, but there was a fella in Australia, I think it was in my state, back in West Australia, who was speeding, and he was in some flash new 20 2023 model, I think. It's 2 years
And
ago.
the car reported him?
The car reported him, yeah. The AI called up the police and said, this vehicle is driving above the speed limit in this direction. And he got snitched on by his own car, which is wild.
And then new markets open up because you're creating a black market to disable those type of things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know privacy and people are touchy on that shit, but I feel like if you don't have anything to hide.
True. Well, then there's the other end, which is if you get a bunch of self-driving cars, how long does it take before some hacker or hack group decides that they're not happy with it, some anarcho-capitalist type thing, and they mess with it and cause tens of thousands of them to crash in one go, and then
That's another reality. But you hope that these companies have the best type of programmers to prevent hacking and shit like that.
I got a mate who does. It's called penetration testing.
But I mean, we also have to. If we're gonna get to that place where we trust them, they better have a lot of guidelines, security, shit to make sure that the people are safe. So, is it possible? Yeah, but I mean, we already give our information to everything, whether it's our cell phone, our banking. People get hacked on that shit all the time.
Yeah, shit.
Hospitals get hacked. Small municipalities for water systems get hacked.
I've been hacked. I got my credit card stolen.
And they rather pay, and these companies rather pay than have to deal with their shit.
Yeah. No, I remember.
There was that thing in Vegas a few years ago where I forgot what casino got hacked, and these motherfuckers couldn't even use the key cards to get into their rooms.
Yeah, just some ransom type thing, like unlock, let it give us your money. But yeah, as I was saying, I got a mate who does penetration testing for the banks in Australia, where he hacks into all their stuff, and then he sits down with their cybersecurity team and he explains like what holes there are in their security and how to fix it. And he says that he goes back every 2 to 4 weeks and just does it again. Because in his words, he said, you can hack into anything. If you have a base level of knowledge, you don't have to be very skilled at it. The challenge is not getting caught. But he's like, you can get in and cause chaos with pretty basic knowledge. You're just going to get fucked over.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing is when it's over. It's so over. You press a button and type in every password in existence in a second, and next thing you know, they find your goon fuel, and next thing you know...
Stop talking about that. In the goon cave.
In the goon cave. Oh, it's headed in a scary direction. Final thoughts?
Dark internet or black internet, would you say?
Dead internet.
Dead internet. I think we're getting there.
I think it's a decade at most away before there's no point being online.
We have major elections coming up, so we'll see. I guess we'll see a little more about this theory coming up. I mean, we saw it in 2016 with like you said, out of state or out of country, people wanting to fuel these fires. They did a hell of a job doing it, so I think we're already there. I think we're closer than what you think.
Yeah, we're always a little closer than we expect. It's pretty crazy.
On some things,
Yeah.
The 60s, people thought they'd be flying cars, and you watch Back to the Future, and no hoverboards yet, but
yeah, fuck, we're not. I think I've seen a technology again out of Japan for flying cars, but it works the way the maglev trains.
There's one in the Bay Area also, but
you see it, but
you see it, but they don't even. They're announcing it, but they still don't. I believe when I saw the last video, they don't even, the car's not even flying yet.
Yeah.
So
there's these ones where to make them work, they'd effectively have to rebuild the roads and then put the magnetic strips underneath the concrete, where they run so much more efficiently, but the cost of infrastructure would mean it'd be like decades before we reclaim the costs.
Cool. So we'll touch base again soon.
Yeah.
For watching Encino Man.
Encino Man, for sure. When do you want to do that?
Today or tomorrow.
Fuck, let's watch Encino Man.
Peace out, people.
Peace out.